Live from Toledo, this is 13 ABC Action News at 11. And now, a breaking news alert.
Suspects who robbed then shot a pizza driver are on the loose tonight. Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us. I'm Lee Conklin.
And I'm Diane Larson. This incident happened on the 400 block of Potter Street just after 9:30 tonight. 13 ABC's Tony Geftis is live near the scene with the breaking news details. Tony.
Diane, police are still on the lookout for suspects in this neighborhood. We are in front of Garfield Elementary, and take a look here. This all went down the block on Potter Street. It's at 416 Potter Street. Around 9:30 tonight, Toledo police say a pizza delivery woman came out to that address. She was on an apparent call for a delivery. Turns out the house was vacant. It was a setup. Somehow, police tell us, the delivery woman wound up inside, shot, and several suspects are on the loose. Still no word on the extent of the woman's injuries. She was taken to St. V's. Police are not releasing her name or her company's name. We will bring you more information as it becomes available. For now, live in the East Side, Tony Geftis, 13 ABC Action News.
It's the most high-profile murder case in our area in years. 5-year-old Nevaeh Buchanan taken from her home and buried alive. It happened last summer, but to this day, the crime remains unsolved. 13 ABC's Tony Geftis retraces the steps of a killer and searches for answers.
It breaks my heart. I talk about it every day.
We know the police are doing everything that they can. They have to know something.
We don't know anything.
Her name was Nevaeh, heaven, spelled backward. On her tombstone, she's called Monroe's little angel.
We just really hope that, someone can, do something and solve this problem and figure out, who did this.
8 months after her death, the question remains, who killed Nevaeh Buchanan?
There's times that when I do look at her picture, I just want to break down and cry.
Diana Lawson is Nevaeh's great aunt. She still lives in the Charlotte Arms apartment building across the hall from where Nevaeh was last seen. That was May 24th of last year. How Nevaeh disappeared is unclear.
That night I went searching with some friends, and the one kid lives in there, and he was questioning about it. I had FBI dude at my door asking questions and stuff. After
a massive 10-day search, 2 fishermen uncovered her body. It was encased in cement along a bank of the River Raisin near the town of Maybe. A large wooden cross now stands along the riverbank, marking the site where investigators recovered Nevaeh's body. It's here you'll also find signs offering a $20,000 reward for whoever can help solve this mystery.
We just wish, that the case would get solved, or the person, whoever did this, would come forward.
2 weeks ago would have marked Nevaeh's 6th birthday. A small crowd gathered to remember the girl, including Nevaeh's mother, Jennifer Buchanan. Jennifer did not speak to the media. She and Nevaeh's grandmother, who was the girl's legal guardian, have since moved out of Charlotte Arms. Those who live there still talk about the chilling crime.
It's scary not knowing who did that to poor little Nevaeh, and that the person could still be out here somewhere.
Meantime, Nevaeh's aunt says she still contacts investigators, asking for updates.
They claim they got 13,000 tips,
Right.
and most of them through telephone, but we don't know anything yet.
We were all set to talk with a sergeant about the investigation and where it stands when the sheriff of Monroe County pulled the plug. At this point, we are told there will be no on-camera interviews about the Nevaeh Buchanan case.
Personally, I think that there's more to it. I think that whoever is in charge of the investigation, I think they know something that they just aren't letting out in the public.
We do know the 2 men originally considered persons of interest are still in prison. George Kennedy and Roy Smith never faced new charges. The convicted sex offenders were both found guilty of violating parole by contacting Nevaeh's family. They're currently finishing out their original sentences. As for Nevaeh's great aunt, she wonders how much detectives know and how much she doesn't.
They're not talking about much of anything. I don't know if they got anything or any clues.
Leaving her and many others to question what led up to the killing of Monroe's little angel, who took the young life of Nevaeh Buchanan. And perhaps the most nagging question of all, why? As you heard, the sheriff's office has fielded 13,000 tips. The lead detective continues to investigate every day. If you have any information, give them a call. Live in the Action News Center, Tony Geftis, 13 ABC Action News.
This is 13 ABC Action News.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Diane Larson. Lee Conklin has the night off. This morning's tragedy in Sylvania is upsetting to parents all across our area, including a couple whose daughter was also struck by a vehicle. 13 ABC's Tony Geftis is live in the news center with the story. Tony.
Diane, this girl is also a teenager and was also crossing the street to get to the school bus when she was hit. Those at Northview High School in Sylvania are only beginning to cope with the death of a student. 15-year-old Morgan Duris was walking across Erie Street to catch her school bus this morning. That's when an SUV, driven by 66-year-old Cynthia Anderson of Toledo, hit and killed her.
It sounds like the same exact scenario.
The same type of accident happened in September to 16-year-old Tabitha Gilliland. She's a freshman at Brooklyn High School in Port Clinton. Tabitha was also walking across the street to catch the bus when a van hit her.
I'm actually glad I made it. I came out with a chipped shoulder and broken bones, but I survived the accident.
Tabitha's accident is especially tough on her parents. They lost a son in 1998 after he was hit by a truck while rollerblading.
You know, eventually we're going to have to go through family counseling. Her brothers and sisters seen her get hit. The students on the school bus had seen this happen.
Meantime, Tabitha is slowly recovering. She went back to school earlier this month and now uses a wheelchair to get around while her broken leg heals. Her father wants to see change, both in awareness and procedure.
Hopefully that the kids can get picked up, you know, right in front of their house instead of crossing the street. And maybe another family doesn't have to go through what we are going through.
Or worse, an accident turned tragic. There will be no classes at Northview tomorrow, but grief counselors will be on hand. Tabitha speaks from experience and urges everyone affected to seek counseling. Live in the news center, Tony Geftis, 13 ABC Action News.
Well, miserable. Does that sum up Toledo? Forbes magazine thinks so. So it put out a list of the most miserable cities with a population above 245,000. And Toledo clocks in at number 15. 13 ABC's Tony Geftis took a trek around town to see just how miserable it gets in T-Town. Tony?
Sasha, I'll tell you what people are saying. They're telling me if you don't live in the Glass City, don't cast any stones. This just in, Toledo has made the Forbes list of most miserable cities. Most miserable? That doesn't seem right. How about gravity slashers at the Lucas County Arena? Yeah, nothing says miserable like guys on motocross bikes having fun. How about the animation exhibit featuring Cartoon Network at the Imagination Station? You guys are miserable, right? No! Is it miserable here?
Oh yeah, it's just killing me. It's just killing me.
Forbes does admit the cost of living is cheap here, 15% below the national average. But the magazine points to those who have lived here and left. That should mean all the miserable people are gone, right? But don't pack up your trunk and leave just yet. Here's another list for you. The Toledo Zoo is one of the top 10 in the country. So you're not miserable here?
Love it. And I'm a Wolverine, and I love it here.
Well, those are strong words.
Yeah, very happy. Great place to raise a family.
You drove a little over an hour to come to Toledo to not be miserable.
Yes, we did.
How's it working out?
We're having a great time.
Hey, Jamie Farr's from Toledo. He looks miserable. Okay, welcome to Tony Packo's at the Park. Here are your hot dogs, gentlemen. There you go, dig in. How does that taste? Are you guys feeling miserable? I guess not. Forbes based this list on commute times, taxes, crime statistics, the weather, but I don't know. I know I'm not alone when I say maybe Forbes should look closer. Number 1 on the list was Cleveland. Number 4 was Detroit. But also in the top 20, we had Chicago, New York, and Miami. Reporting live from the world-renowned Toledo Museum of Art Glass Pavilion, Tony Geftis, 13 ABC Action News.
And there you go.